Mason, how much fun was last year?
It's hard to put into words at this point, even, a couple months after the fact now. It was a special group of guys with special personalities and something that you might not ever be able to replicate, but kind of what it takes to get there and the personalities that it takes and the pieces. And it was a lot of fun and something I'll never forget in my lifetime for sure.
You live around here, so I guess you don't ever really get far from it. Does a day go by where someone doesn't say something to you?
It started to quiet down a little bit now, but for the first couple months after, it seemed like even though I'd get through like a week span, someone would be reaching out just saying congratulations. And it was kind of a cool feeling, being around here. It kind of felt like I was bringing something back to my home, and it was a great feeling.
You were the midweek guy most of the year, handled that really well, moved into the rotation, pitched the deciding game in Omaha. Just talk about the transition in your role last year and what that was like.
Brownie does a great job of creating a mentality with us that we're just out there competing no matter what capacity the role's in. So whether it's, out of the bullpen on the weekends, out of the bullpen on midweeks, starting the midweeks or starting on the weekends, it's the same mentality really. It's just attacking the batters, competing up there and having confidence on the mound. So as long as you take that into whatever capacity you are, then you're more than likely going to see some success along the way.
I've gone back and watched the Michigan game several times, and it starts with 3 straight hits,
Yeah.
and it feels kind of like they've got you on the ropes. What was it like going through that inning in the middle of that? How did you get out of it?
Some people have said I look calm throughout it, but 3 hits right off the bat, you get a little nervous going through that. So it was just, having the ability to calm down and refocus, understanding that we have tons of baseball left to play, and just minimizing the damage that had been done so far. Thankfully, only got out of that inning with 1 run and kind of recomposed myself from there.
What's it like knowing ahead of time you're taking the ball that morning, the night? I mean, what is that feeling like as you go to the mound with everything on the line?
So it was actually a pretty quick transition. The night before, I was, possibly out of the bullpen in case we needed to win that game. We had 1 game left with our season, and that's kind of the mentality we took, that every game matters. So the night before, I was out of the bullpen in case of emergency. So once that game ended, it was quickly figuring out, that I was going to start the next day, and that I really needed to refocus and concentrate on the next day, start preparing myself, getting my routines together, and then just try and, do what I did before.
You were so tough last year. You were consistent the whole way. You got tougher to hit as the season went on. What made you a better pitcher?
It was the same thing within that first inning of the Michigan game. It was just small adjustments, realizing, the weaknesses that I threw up to the plate sometimes, and then figuring out what they were, and then moving on forward with them. Making small adjustments, whether it was getting the breaking ball going a little bit lower, getting the fastball a little bit higher, more out of the zone, slow chase. It's just small stuff like that.
What pitches will you use in games this year?
Right now, fastball, slider, curveball, changeup. Just kind of same rotation I was doing towards the end of the year last year, and see how that works out.
What percentage did you throw each of those a year ago? Do you know?
Fastball is probably the majority, curveball
Yeah.
second, and slider, changeup,
Yeah.
kind of interchangeable there towards the end.
What's different about you as a pitcher from where you left off a season ago?
Every year you just gain more confidence. You get in this league, you get through some tough experiences, and then just builds confidence. The same thing going forward with this year is just carrying all the experiences with us, but also not relying on them either. They make us tougher and make us a better team overall.
Last year's lineup was pretty legendary.
Yeah.
This year, a lot of new faces. What do you see from those guys as you pitch against them in practice?
We've seen some guys kind of step up within the freshman class already. There's some people that are putting some really good swings on the baseball, and it's going to be an enjoyment to see how they progress throughout the fall and then early spring, and kind of see how the lineup shakes out.
Thank you, Mason.
Yeah, absolutely.